For any right triangle, a²
plus b² equals c².
We're making a shed.
Oh yeah? Okay, first thing to do is we gotta square up this pad. So let me explain what that means. First thing, you gotta figure out which side you wanna start on. Generally speaking, on a house and everything, what you wanna do is pick a long, straight chunk of it. In this case, we're gonna use the front of this shed. This is where the door is gonna be, so we're gonna start right there. You go 3.5 inches if you're using a 2x4, 5.5 if you're using a 2x6.
For any right triangle, a² plus b² equals c², as written up here. So when we apply the 3, 4, 5 method, as shown in this triangle, 3 on the one side, 4 on the other side, and 5 is a hypotenuse, 3² plus 4² equals 5², which is 9 plus 16 equals 25, clearly. Another trick to use is that if you want to use multiples of the same multiple, you can go 3 times 1 multiple, or 4 times 1 multiple.
Since that's the line I know is going to be straight and that's the one I want to go off of, then I go on that mark, and then when I pull it to this mark, if that dimension doesn't equal what I want it to, then what I have to do is adjust this dimension in or out until those two lines intersect. Now we're at the back side of this whole dimension of this whole foundation. So what I did is I pulled my 2x6 dimension, put it right there, but then next I want to pull a dimension from the front because I know this is good and I know this is good because that's what I did my square up with. So I want this dimension to be parallel with the front. So I pull my 2x6 first and then I measure what exactly it is here. So it looks like 102.5. In this case, my 102.5 comes about 1/8 of an inch short, which I think is just fine. That's acceptable. In this case, unfortunately, I have a full 1.5 inch discrepancy. This mark should be here. So what I have to do is I have to change that dimension. This is the result of that out of square thing. I'm actually probably going to move this another 1/2 inch. That'll make it so the back side corner of this slab is actually sticking out past the framing, but I think that's probably a little better option. Well, there's that. I hope it explains some things about how to properly square up a pad. You can use the same technique whether it's a garage you're adding onto your yard or a whole house. It's going to be a little more complicated with all the jogs and stuff that a garage or a house have, but the same technique applies. The next video we're going to go over some basic layout, how to space the studs, how to lay it out so it makes sense, and how to basically build a wall, even if you're including a window or a door or something like that.
For any right triangle, a² plus b² equals c², as written up here. So when we apply the 3, 4, 5 method, as shown in this triangle, 3 on the one side, 4 on the other side, and 5 as a hypotenuse, 3² plus 4² equals 5², which is 9 plus 16 equals 25, clearly. Another trick to use is that if you want to use multiples of the same multiple, you can go 3 times 1 multiple or 4 times 1 multiple equals 5 of the same multiple. And that is another way of squaring up your concrete pad.